Hi, Angel here. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to review Writing and Selling Short Stories and Personal Essays by Wendy Lynn Harris. This is a book that I reviewed on NetGalley, and so I thought I would share my thoughts and experiences and the main key points that I got out of it. This was a book that I highly recommend. I give it actually a 5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 star rating on my YouTube rating system, although I gave it a 5 out of 5 on my NetGalley rating. And that's because on my YouTube rating system, I'm going to reserve my 5 of 5 stars for things that just blow my mind. But 4 out of 5 is about as good as most anything that is good is going to get. And indeed, this book, Writing and Selling Short Stories and Personal Essays, gets a solid 4 out of 5 and even attempted at a 5. So, and that's because this is a really well-written, really informative, really practical, useful book if you're interested in writing and selling short stories or personal essays. The author has been a successful author and seller, published, author of short stories and essays, and also gives lots and lots of good examples of not only her work, but of other people's work that exemplify her points about the differences. And this is point number 1 that I got out of this book, is she really does a good job of distinguishing what makes a personal essay and what makes a short story. And I guess I hadn't really thought about the differences until I read that book, so it was informative and good to think about. And she talks about also the differences in markets as far as selling them, what kind of markets buy personal essays, which is a lot of magazines and maybe blogs these days. And then it's a different market, including maybe books, self-published books for short stories. So sometimes there's crossover, some of the same market, but some differences. And she really does a great job of kind of explaining what's the difference between a personal essay, which is generally usually like a true story, a kind of a rendition of something that happened to you or something that you think about. Basically reminded me of papers that I used to write in college, kind of my own reflection and review, versus a short story, which usually has some characters and conflict and then a resolve. So sometimes a good personal essay also has those elements, but it's just a different framework in most cases. There's some crossover. So that was number 1 thing I got from the book, was kind of that thought that there is a difference, and that it depends on where you want to market it as to what kind of style you might want to focus on more, or what kind of style you focus on more might dictate where you want to focus for your marketing. Both directions, that's true. And number 2 thing I got from that was she gave just a lot of practical advice for crafting a personal story and crafting an essay. Like I mentioned, she kind of breaks it down into the basics, really from an educated perspective of, the characters and how to develop characters and conflict and resolve. And she gives lots of great examples. So I thought it was a very good practical guide for exactly what the title claims, which is for writing and selling your short stories and personal essays. So number 3 was that basically, sorry, I'm looking at my notes again off to the side there. As promised, was really not number 3. It's just kind of a reiteration of 1 and 2, which is that she really does give lots of great advice, lots of great tips for how to categorize, and I guess that's a little bit of a shade different, your personal stories and your personal essays and your short stories, how to figure out what category to market them in or to try to publish them in. She has some great tips for that, some great personal experience, and lots of great examples. So I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I found it very practical, useful guide for writing short stories and personal essays. And yeah, I would love to hear if you've read it, or you can find it on Amazon and other places on the internet, probably via audiobook. I'm not positive on that yet. I should look before I speak, but in any case, you can find it, you can read it. Let me know if you've read it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you know of any other great books on writing your own personal essays and short stories and publishing them, selling them. Anyway, I'd love to hear. I hope that helps you a little bit. Let me know if it does. Until next time, peace, prosperity, and possibilities.